When was the last time you finished something and felt genuinely proud? Not relieved it was over, not already thinking about what you did wrong, but truly, completely proud. If that took more than a few seconds to answer, this video is for you. Welcome to Mind Body Mysteries, where we uncover hidden truths about your mind and body that most people never hear. In June 2026, researchers at the London School of Economics published the largest perfectionism study ever conducted. 307 studies, 35 years of data, over 82,000 young adults across the USA, Canada, and the UK. What they found was deeply alarming. Today, we cover 6 hidden truths about perfectionism, the economic force secretly driving it, what it does to your brain, why social media is not actually the main cause, and what science says genuinely helps. Stay till point 6. It is the truth nobody is talking about. Point 1. And this distinction changes everything. Psychologists identified 2 completely different types of perfectionism. The first, perfectionistic strivings, is setting high standards and working hard to meet them. In controlled amounts, this can fuel real success. But the second type, perfectionistic concerns, is something far darker. It is not about standards. It is about fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of judgment, a constant belief that no matter what you achieve, it is never enough. The 2026 research found this second type is not rising steadily. It is rising exponentially. Young people today are increasingly driven not by wanting to succeed, but by a deep terror of failing. And that difference, according to every psychological measure we have, is the difference between healthy ambition and a mental health crisis in the making. Point 2. And this will change how you see your own daily pressure. Most people assume perfectionism is a personality trait, something you are born with. But the 2026 research revealed something far more unsettling. Perfectionism is directly driven by economic conditions. As inequality rises and opportunities shrink, perfectionism spikes. Young people begin believing that if they are just perfect enough, they can outcompete everyone else for what little remains. Dr. Thomas Curran of the London School of Economics was direct. Perfectionism is a public health risk, and the conditions creating it are systemic, not personal. You are not broken for feeling this pressure. The world you are living in was designed, intentionally or not, to make you feel exactly this way. Point 3. And the neuroscience here is genuinely disturbing. Chronic perfectionism activates your brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, in response to completely ordinary tasks. Writing an email, making a decision, sending a message. Things that should feel routine begin to feel dangerous. Over time, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking and creativity, starts going offline under pressure. Meaning the harder a perfectionist tries to perform, the less effectively their brain actually works. The 2026 study confirmed this across every dataset examined. Over 35 years, higher perfectionism consistently predicted worsening anxiety and depression. Every single time. It is not coincidence. It is neuroscience. Point 4. And this is not about blame. A meta-analysis covering over 7,000 participants found that children who perceived unrealistically high parental expectations developed significantly higher perfectionism by adulthood. But here is the nuance. Most of these parents were not cruel. They were scared. Scared the world had become too competitive to leave any room for imperfection. So they passed on their anxiety through the language of high standards. An entire generation is now carrying that inherited weight, without knowing where it came from. The researchers were clear. Addressing perfectionism requires honest conversations about the cultural pressure that parents themselves are quietly drowning in. Point 5, and this surprised even the researchers. Smartphones and social media have taken most of the blame for the youth mental health crisis. But the 2026 data revealed something that changes that conversation permanently. Perfectionism started rising in 1989. Social media did not exist until the mid-2000s. The psychological foundation for this crisis was already being built before anyone posted their first photo online. What social media did was pour fuel on a fire already burning. Platforms built on likes, followers, and public comparison gave perfectionism a 24-hour stage for the first time in history. Dr. Curran was direct. Phones and social media received a lot of the blame. But this research suggests something much deeper is at work. Social media amplified perfectionism. The economy and culture created it. Point 6, and this is the one that matters most. What does science actually say helps? 3 approaches stood out in the research. First, self-compassion. Developed by Dr. Kristen Neff at the University of Texas, the practice of treating yourself after failure the same way you would treat a close friend. Studies consistently show this measurably reduces perfectionism, anxiety, and depression over time. Second, process-focused thinking. Deliberately shifting attention from outcomes to effort, growth, and learning. Research shows this single shift reduces fear-based perfectionism more than almost any other method tested. And third, perhaps the most powerful of all, is simply understanding what you heard today. Perfectionism is not a personal flaw. It is a rational response to an irrational amount of pressure. And knowing that, truly knowing it, is where the possibility of carrying it differently begins. So here is what we now know. Perfectionism is rising faster than at any recorded point in psychological history. It is driven by economic forces most people never connect to, their own anxiety. It is physically rewiring young brains to treat ordinary tasks as genuine threats. And it has been building for 35 years, long before social media gave it a bigger stage. But here is the final truth the research keeps returning to. Perfectionism thrives in silence. It grows most powerful when people believe they are the only one feeling this way. You are not. 82,000 people across 3 decades of data say otherwise. If this video made something click for you, subscribe to Mind Body Mysteries, where every week we uncover the hidden truths about your mind and body that most people never get to hear. Comment below, do you consider yourself a perfectionist? And did anything today genuinely surprise you? I will see you in the next mystery.